A big welcome back to SwitchUp. I'm Mark Walker and we're going to look at the sales as well as a couple of games you should avoid. Well, that Microsoft showcase, Microsoft/Bethesda showcase was decent. I'm starting to think that Switch Pro is almost becoming an essential if Nintendo don't want to get left behind. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. As always, a big thanks to Pixel Heart. They sponsor this channel and you can get 15% off their games with the code SwitchUp. I'll pop a link in the description. Also, I'm feeling a bit cheeky, so I'm going to hide 2 game codes in this video. They will flash up briefly. Don't hurt yourself or cause yourself physical discomfort searching for them. They will be for This War of Mine and Children of Mortar, and they're going to be US region codes. If you enjoy the channel, then consider sticking around. We really appreciate it. And hopefully when that Switch Pro drops, we will have all the inside scoop. Did I just say when? What's on sale? Let's find out. First up then is my pickup this week, and it's a game called Griftlands, which just released. Well, I say just, it came out on June the 4th. It's very, very cool. It was recommended by a few of you in the chat, and I thought, well, we didn't get a code, but I'll pick it up and see if it's any good. And I picked it up on the sale price, 20% off at £9.59, and it's awesome. It combines a few of my favourite games. It has elements of Slay the Spire, but in a weird kind of way. It also uses things from Monkey Island. Do you remember the insult sword fighting? Well, not quite the same as that, but you do have to pick different things to help you negotiate. When you kill enemies, you'll get new cards from them that you can then use in latter fights. It's really good. I'm hoping to do a full review of this one because I'm enjoying it a lot. But it's 1.5 gigs. It will take you around about 13 hours to finish. And yeah, this sale goes on until June the 18th. Then we've got Hellpoint, which is also available in a signature edition physical version. If you're interested, it's currently 50% off, taking it down to £15.74 here in the UK. That's a huge discount, seeing as it only just came out, well, relatively speaking. Now this has seen a couple of patches since launch, and the performance is much better. If you squashed Dark Souls and Dead Cells together, you'd get a game that looks kinda similar to this one. If you've got a friend that's got it as well, you can actually play co-op online, which is very beneficial, especially on some of the tougher fights. And if you're someone that gets a bit scared, then yeah, it might help you there as well. It's going to take around about 30-35 hours to beat this. It's 3.5 gigs, and that sale goes on until July the 11th. Then we've got SuperEpic, which also has a physical version, but this is a Metroidvania where you get to play as a llama, and it's 90% off. I mean, that takes it to £1.49. That's a ridiculous amount of saving, and it's a really fun game. It's definitely worth that price, and it's gone under the radar of quite a few people. It comes from Numbskull Games, is 868 megs, and did I mention it's got a llama and a raccoon in it? Awesome. That sale goes on until July the 1st. A really funny, enjoyable little Metroidvania. Next up, we've got Graveyard Keeper. You can also buy the collector's edition for £13.49, and it's also 50% off. I'd recommend going for that one because it comes with the DLCs, which are the Stranger Sins and Breaking Dead. And in my review, I described this as Stardew Valley meets a Graveyard Keeper. It's very strange. You can do autopsies on bodies and then sell the parts, throw them in the river, but then you'll be spending time intricately decking out your graveyard and making sure everything's in the right order and tickety-boo. I enjoyed this one a lot, and I'd suggest, even if you just go for the DLCs if you've played the base game before, those are all half price as well on their own. This one goes on sale until July the 11th. Next up then, an incredible RPG that looks not incredible. It's West of Loathing. It's brilliant. It's so funny. The writing is exceptional, and there's a reason it carries an 85 Metacritic score. It describes itself as a slapstick comedy adventure RPG but there are a few games that have made me laugh out loud as much as this one. Those ultra high res HD black and white graphics stretch the Switch to its limits, but there's also 50 hats to collect, so yeah, it's just a very funny game. We have a full review of this one if you want to go and check that out. I'll pop a link to it in the top pinned comment. It's 488 megs, take you around about 20 hours to complete, and that sale ends on June the 29th. Oh, it's 37% off at £6.93. This next one's not available in Europe, it's the US only and near regions, and it's Moonlighter, which is an incredible game, one of my favourites on Switch, another one we've got a review of, and it's published by 11-Bit Studios and developed by Digital Sun. It's an outstanding Zelda meets shopkeeper simulator. There are some brutal bosses thrown in. There's been a few updates since it launched, and the soundtrack is on point. There's something very, very satisfying about picking the right price to sell something to the suckers that, the shop, people that come into your shop. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. Very chill, this one, apart from when you go into a dungeon and get absolutely annihilated. Well worth checking out. Little Nightmares 2 is also on sale at the moment. I think it's 20% off in the UK. I don't know if it's available on sale in other regions, but it's just come out. It's a decent game. It did very well in our review. You can check that out. And they're just good games. This time around you play as Mono, who is a young boy trapped in a world that has been distorted by the humming transmission of a distant tower. You can totally tell I just read that. Glen reviewed this one for us. He seemed to enjoy it. And there is also a DLC available called The Name's Attic. I'm not sure what that's about. It's a reasonably short adventure at around about 8.5 hours, and that sale goes on until the end of the month. This next one also comes with an Avoid Torchlight 3 that's also on sale. Torchlight 2's on sale in the US and is a brilliant game. It was jointly developed by Panic Button and Runic Games to bring it over to the Switch, and is published by Perfect World. Glen reviewed this for us on the channel, and it's an excellent Diablo-esque title with that top-down isometric perspective, but you can get a unicorn as a pet, so that's all I need to say. There is 4-player co-op online, but it's a real shame that there isn't any local co-op. That's a bit of a missed opportunity, unless you've got multiple Switches in the house, in which case you could do LAN play, but yeah, it is a shame. The reason I said avoid the third one, look, it was originally designed to be a mobile release. They then changed halfway through. It carries a lot of the DNA that they obviously intended to be on that mobile platform, and it just doesn't, it's just not as good as this game. This also has a new game plus mode, so there's lots of after game content, and the base game, and to do everything, is going to take you at least 70 hours. This is well worth considering. It's 2.09 gigs and a bit of a classic, really. Our penultimate game to pick up then is actually suggested by my daughter, who is 7 years old. She reckons we should have a kids pick, so there you go. Can't ignore these people, you see, just because they're small. She says River Bond, which is only £3.59, that's 80% off, is a fun one for her and her brother to play. And yeah, you can play with up to 4 players in local co-op. It has a top-down, almost imagine a top-down, well, I guess Minecraft Dungeons is very similar to this in some ways. It has that voxel look in artwork, but it's actually quite bright and colourful, and they seem to really enjoy it and be able to get on well with it. It's only 562 megs as well, and there is a storyline here. I'm not sure whether they followed it at all. They just they see bright colours, they see the Minecraft styling, and I've joined them for a few little games here and there, and yeah, it seems decent enough. And for £3.59, you can't really complain. That sale goes on until June the 23rd. Last but not least, and this is always the one where everyone says, there was nothing on the sale for me until that popped up, how annoying. But that's why it's a hidden gem. So this is our hidden gem this week, and it's a game called All Walls Must Fall. Now it's a strategy action game, but it has some role-playing elements as well, and this is by far the cheapest it's ever ever been. It's set in Berlin in 2089, where the Cold War didn't finish. It's an isometric action game, and it has well, this is literally from the blurb. It says a hybrid, real-time, simultaneous, turn-based tactical gameplay. And really that's the only way to describe it. You can mess with time itself as well, and it actually looks decent. It uses the Unreal 4 engine, which is has mixed results on Switch, but there's a lovely soundtrack here, and you essentially, well, you know the film Looper? Remember that one where he goes back in time, and yeah, you control a time-bending spy, basically. If this appeals to you, it certainly appeals to me as an XCOM fan, and for someone that likes a bit of a hidden gem, then consider checking this one out. It's 83% off, as I say, the lowest it's ever been. In fact, this is its first major drop since it launched, and that sale goes on until June the 16th. Now is that time where we look at 2 games that you should absolutely avoid because they make you lament the lack of a rating system on the eShop and embarrass you when your friend sat playing his PS5 or Xbox. And I'm actually going to start with one that's been on this list before because, look, I watch a lot of other videos and sometimes you see some recommendations and you're like, what are you doing? And Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2 has been recommended by a few people. It's terrible. It's really not a good game, and you'd be better off saving the £13.99 that it currently is on sale and spending it on one of the games that's actually decent. It lacks voice acting, it lacks character in a game filled with characters, and the course designs aren't incredibly impressive. Last but not least, we have Niche, a genetics survival game. Now in principle this could have been awesome, and it's clever in some respects that the world kind of exists constantly, but you basically splice different genes together and then breed these creatures, but it's so janky and the movement and general control is terrible. It's a shame because the idea here is reasonably interesting to think about things like Spore, but the actual execution, yeah, as I say, ugh. Oh, it's painful. It was painful to play this. You never know though, you might like games that have terrible controls that are about this subject matter, in which case, crack on. So that's it for this week. England 1-0. Good job, nice one, enjoyed that immensely. If you like Pixel Heart games, then remember you can get 15% off their physical collection on any platform if you use the code SwitchUp. And do leave your normal comments below if you'd like to win one of our monthly games. Thanks to our patrons, you guys are awesome, you support us each week and it's genuinely saved us again. I won't say exactly how, but yeah, thank you. Having that little bit extra each month is very beneficial sometimes. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!